guys, I haven't been on this bike in a while, and it's so different. The clutch. I literally just watched a video about this bike, and the guy was saying how the clutch is either on or off. You know what? I didn't notice it before. I didn't really notice it because it was one of my first bikes, and I thought, hey, that's how it's meant to be. But after riding fuel-injected bikes and bikes with a little bit more refinement than this, I'm like, yeah, man, the clutch is just literally, that's it. It takes a lot of getting used to. It's like I have never ridden this bike before, so. And because I've been on the Vstar for so long now, I forgot to get earplugs because you just don't need them. But I do have the quiet baffles in, as I had the Vance & Hines quiet baffles fit to my short shots. I gotta say, it's a bit better. It's not quiet, as you can hear. This is all internal mic. This is all what I'm hearing. What you're hearing is what I'm hearing in my helmet. And I keep looking for another gear, so I keep looking for 6. You'll see me do that heaps. Because when you don't have it, you don't miss it. But then jumping off bikes with 6 gear, you kind of, you do miss it. And it doesn't have a gear indicator, so I have to just keep going down until I can't hit anymore. But I will tell you this, I love this bike, man. I absolutely love it. It does take a bit of getting used to compared to other fuel injected bikes, compared to lighter bikes. It's kind of got a suicide. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but you feel like you're going fast. You feel like you're going fast. And that's what it's about. Like, I don't even know what speed I'm doing. It's just so weird looking down at the tank to check my speed. And the bike felt cramped when I got on it because, you know, sitting up on the ADV bike on the Vstar, it's all more comfortable for me. But after a few minutes, just a couple of minutes, just to get used to things, just get back in the saddle. I love this bike, man. Honestly. People that have these bikes generally only complain about them when they've sold them and moved on to something bigger. But you can have a lot of fun on these bikes. A lot of fun. Like, you feel like, look, I'm tall. I'm just over 6 foot. By today's standards, it's not that tall, I guess. There you go again, I'm looking for another gear. And it's an imaginary gear. I change and I feel like I've changed it up. It's fine. But like, I'm over 6 foot, like I'm 185 centimeters. And normally when I used to ride this bike, I didn't feel too cramped till like 30 minutes into the ride. And then I'm like, oh, you know what? I'd love like a set of 4-inch forward controls. Stretch the legs out a bit. I would love some forward controls and some handlebars. But I don't have that. So I'm going to talk to you. These is kind of drag bars and they're back a bit. I had them move back a bit. Kind of lets me ride a bit upright a bit more than they were before. Before they were about here. And I think that's more for looks and style and the way the guy who had it before me was riding. I like to sit back and cruise. And if you hear me revving this bike out and it's nothing to do with the bike, it's all about me, ladies and gentlemen. It's just because I've jumped off the fuel injected Vstar that I've been riding for 2 weeks, all my WR 450, which is very snappy responsiveness. And I've forgotten the characteristics of this bike. I haven't ridden this bike for a few weeks. And I really missed it because it's a day like today that you want to ride a bike like this. The sun's out. Yeah, I got all my protective gear on. I'm going on a longer ride today. And I'm all about safety. I'm all about doing this for as long as you can. But, you know, I live near the beach and there's nothing like on a day like today, not the weekend, because the weekend sucks for people that live by the beach, because you've got all the tourists in and we all have to share. But there's a lot of traffic and yeah. But during the day, on days like this, during the week, I love to just cruise down the beach in my t-shirt, jeans on. I might even get an open face helmet. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. What is happening here, people? We have some issues. So that clutch really is just on and off, and it's just, I'm going to go back. I'll show you the water another time. Just too much traffic and the police are down there and it's, I don't know what that thing is. But I'm out. And it's really about the ride today. I want to get on the freeway. Or at least a little bit of freeway. I am going to do a big freeway ride on this and see what it's like to get it up to speed, freeway speeds, because I haven't really done that much of that, you know what I mean, consistently. But this is a great cruiser for short trips. You could even do a long trip on this. It just depends on the type of rider you are. Now I don't particularly get it why guys buy cruisers and do a lot of performance mods and want to burn the tires and have, you know, I get burnouts, yeah. I get doing a burnout. I get doing a donut. I was a kid once. Woohoo. Burn your tires up. But if you don't want to do that and you just want a cruiser, why are you going to put so much power in it that you feel like the things feel like it wants to go and go and go, and you don't really get to relax? There might be some people saying, well, yeah, Al, you're saying that because you're riding the 650. But this has got everything, mate. This has got all the power you need to just cruise. Like, that's what cruising's about. It's enjoying these days, feeling free. You and the machine are one. Right lane the bike goes, you know what I mean? That's what I love. That's what I got into riding for. And that's why I believe that practicality is aside, because I don't think these are the most practical bikes in the world. As I look at the trip meter just to make sure I'm not going to run out of fuel, because I didn't bother checking. But these bikes aren't practical, and they're not meant to be. They're meant to be a little bit loud. They're meant to be catch the wind. you feel the wind. They're not meant to protect you. You're meant to be one with nature. That's my belief. You're gonna say, "Al, what do you know? I've been riding for 20 years and I want comfort." Yeah, cool. Put a windshield on it. Get one of those big ass Harleys. It keeps you comfortable, has all the power in the world. But do I need more power than this for these short day trips? No, I don't. I really don't. Will I get a bigger bike in the future? Absolutely, because that's the kind of person I am. But who knows when that'll be? I like power like the next guy. But for this type of riding around Sydney, it's got plenty of power. You just got to learn how to get it down. And that's the challenge I've found, is learn how to get the power down comfortably. So I guess that brings me to a point. Is this a great beginner bike? Is this a great beginner bike? Well, the power, although the clutch, and I don't know if it's, I did hear someone else say that these clutches are either on or off. But I think you can manage that. I think you could. I've done some, car park stuff with this bike. I've done, I'm going slow now and it's really handling it. 300ZX, I used to have a black one of those, twin turbo. The power's not going to scare you. If you've got good throttle control, the power's not ridiculous. It comes on smooth, and if that's why you're getting into riding for weekend rides and cruising and just chilling, and it's a hobby, then yes, this bike is definitely a great beginner bike. Right? Doing your most test, which is what they call it in Australia, you might find it a bit challenging. Just learn your rider craft, practice in a car park beforehand. Yeah? It just takes a little bit more practice on these bikes. I did my test on a DR650, Suzuki DR650. For me, it's the easiest bike in the world. That's why I passed. That's why I got a really good score. A perfect score, in fact. Probably the only perfect score I've got in my life. No, I don't think it has. I'm being harsh on myself. But yeah, it was nice to get a perfect score. But that bike, for a man my size, was actually perfect, yeah? I was thinking of doing it with my WR450, but I don't think that was actually, that would have cooked. That really would have cooked. So I'm finding that biting point. It's a very small window. Maybe I'll adjust the clutch when I pull up, play with the clutch cable. I had the guys do it before and it was better. I don't know why when I got it back from a service it's worse again. So tell me that isn't enough power for a beginner rider. Everything's in the rear view mirror, mate. I mean, there's cars up there. If I wanted to really go past everyone, I probably could, but I don't. I want to keep my license. It's the whole point. With great power comes great responsibility. Yeah, so the more power you've got, the more you're going to want to use it. This bike sounds like I'm doing a ton. Sounds like I'm going really fast. I can enjoy that. That's the whole bloody point, isn't it? That's the whole point why you get into bikes. You want to feel it. You want to feel the juice. And I do. I feel like I'm going 100 miles an hour. I can feel the wind. And if you're into that open face helmet stuff, you'll have a ball. Would you have pipes as loud as this on your beginner bike? That's another story. I wouldn't. I mean, they say loud pipes save lives, but I think responsible riding saves lives. Do you get noticed? Yeah, you do. It helps. But having your high vis, your due diligence, your ridercraft, all the stuff that I'm still learning. I'll make mistakes like everyone else, but I give myself enough space to make those mistakes, yeah? Alright, there is a little boy in me, you probably can't hear me right now. These bikes are awesome fun. Where the wind really hits you on these open bridges, they are cool to ride over, but this isn't my Vstar. I really feel the wind on this bad boy. That's why I'm glad I got the new helmet, the Shoei GTR 2, great helmet for all types of riding. It's a great all-purpose helmet. But back to my point about beginner bikes. Is it a great beginner bike? A reason it isn't. You're going to find that the brakes on this bike, you need to work them. You need to work front and back brakes, especially if you're on a hill. Whereas a lot of other bikes, you can just get away with the front brake. You can just get away with the front brake. But on this bike, you got to use both brakes. She's a heavy bike and the braking's adequate. But you're not going to ride it like a sports bike. You're not going to be late braking in the corners. That's what cruising's all about. So it's at this point that I'm exchanging some polite words with a young gentleman who I noticed was continually driving very close to the rear of my vehicle. This goes on for quite a while. We pull up to the lights. I think he feels sheepish and doesn't want to pull up next to me. Edit that out. So let's take this bike in front of us for example. It's a little Pee-wee 125 Yamaha sports bike, YRF. I don't even know what model they are, right? I'm 6 foot tall. There's no way in hell R15. There's no way in hell that I'm going to be comfortable on that bike, right? Could I ride it around the track? Yeah. Would I want to ride it in traffic? No. Is he going to be faster than me off the line? He might be. He might be. But he needs to be. Do you get it? He needs to be, because I'm just cool. I'm chill. I'm not about being the fastest one in the park. Yeah, I'm the fastest one on the road. It's not even about commuting, and you could use this bike as a commuter bike. I did use it for a little while as a commuter bike. I did use it with a backpack on, going to get the groceries. I don't get a week's worth of groceries, I get a day's worth, but you know, there's people with saddlebags. You put saddlebags in these things and you go get a few days worth of groceries. Like, you can live your life with just this bike 100%. I've no doubt you could. Now, the way this is set up, the way I bought it because I actually did a lot of research, and I love the cruiser lifestyle. I was like, you know, I've got an itch to feel what it's like to get a cruiser. I really want to feel, I want a taste of what a cruiser's like, but I don't want to invest a small mortgage into that experience, because I might not like it. And this was the bike for me. Now, at the time when I bought this, I had to get this. This was the largest bike I could get. It's where I was at on my license. In Australia, we have restricted licenses when you're a beginner. And where I was at, I had to get this bike. Now I don't. Now I could go trade this in, or I could sell this. Trade this in. I never trade anything in. I could sell this, and I could buy 1100 or bigger. Oh, the 950 is supposed to be a good bike. But I'm not there yet. I honestly haven't got bored of this bike yet. I honestly, like, if you were doing long trips, like a couple of hours stints at a time or longer, you'd want a bigger bike. You wouldn't want to be wringing the neck of your bike for a long trip, say from Sydney to Newcastle or Sydney interstate. I get it. You want the bike to be doing the work for you. But I absolutely love riding this bike, because I do have to work to get the most out of it. And I do get the most out of it. I use every gear. And that's another reason why it's a good beginner bike. Is you will go through every gear on this bike. You'll get to 5th gear. The way the DR650 I rode when I got my license, the way that was set up with the motard setup and the gearing and everything, I didn't have to get out of 2nd gear much for the speeds I was doing around town. I very rarely got into 3rd, and yeah, I got into 5th on the few times I was at the freeway, but general around town, 1st, 2nd. It's got a very tall 1st gear for some reason. Today is such a gorgeous day. I am feeling the heat though. I'm regretting not bringing something to drink. Milk was a bad choice. And if you got that quote, that reference, you're cool. If you didn't, do yourself a favour. Check out Anchorman, the movie. Okay, I'm gonna go down the inside we go. So I've been forgetting to use the back brake, and this has been braking fine, contrary to what I told you before. As I get lazy on the Vstar and the WR, you don't use the only thing I use the back brake for on those bikes is kind of like to hold shot it, because that's how I learnt, not because I'm a motocross rider or anything like that. It's just the way I learned to take off. And I guess I can do a video on that, but there's a lot more technical riders out there that probably have videos of doing a whole shot better than I am, so check that out. Coming up to one of my favourite bridges, usually very windy. Very windy. I might actually use this guy as a bit of a buffer. Oh, he's going to go as slow as... slow as balls, we used to say. Where that came from. It's truck day on the bridge. Truck in every lane. Awesome. Well, there's the guy in the R15. I really want to watch him because I do poop myself on this bridge a few times. And I've got fairly heavy bikes. It's not that windy today. It's not that windy. It's actually a gorgeous day, man. It's a great riding day. Let me catch up to... See what I mean? Old mate on the R15's gone. So it's not the tool you got, it's how you use it. He's probably commuting from work and he's not in a lot more of a hurry than I am. But this road's awesome. I love this road. I just wish it didn't have as many traffic lights. These are the kind of roads that this bike's designed for. Like, they're faster roads, but they're not freeways. There's the guy up there holding up traffic, the guy that was riding right on my butt. I had a few polite words too, very civilised, distinguished words. But yeah, it's so nice today, so nice. Just a little bit of breeze in the jacket. I got to invest in maybe a cooler jacket with still the protection in it, because I'm all about the protection. Like I think it's a no-brainer as a beginner rider that you put as much protection as you can on. I think it's an absolute no-brainer. This is not the guy that was riding my butt. This is a lady in the same car. My apologies. And love to you, brother. I lost my cool. You weren't paying attention. You're not a bike rider. That's my responsibility, not yours. So please forgive me. I know not what I do. But it adds awareness, yeah? If you get someone to be aware that they're riding right on your butt, it's not cool. If you're a bike rider, I'm going to stop faster than he is. I don't want him pushing me out in the traffic or doing something stupid. You're not getting anywhere faster, mate. It's not like I'm in the fast lane going slow as anything, keeping up with the speed of traffic. Sydney driving used to be very aggressive. It kind of still is, I guess. It's very aggressive. There's a lot of, like, I've driven in New York and I thought that'd be worse. They're impatient, but they're not as aggressive as here. I don't know what the deal is. So really are some around on the roads at the moment. Some of you from overseas might be wondering why I keep the bike in gear, why I keep my hand on the clutch. I'm meant to keep my hand on the brake. It's just the way we were trained. It's just the way that, unless there's 2 or 3 cars pull up behind me, if there's only one car or there's no car behind me yet, I'm always ready to ride off, go down an escape route. If someone hasn't seen me, they're late braking, they're going to hit me. It's the way we're trained. And it's just a habit now. It's just so ingrained in me that I very rarely put it into neutral. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing mechanically, but I service my bike, so I guess it's not a big deal. But I do want to pull up somewhere, give you a walk around on this bike, change the battery. So these things on the side of the road in Sydney, right there, are speed cameras. Some people call them lifesavers. Other people call them revenue raisers. Bit of column A, bit of column B, in my opinion. It's odd where they keep them. They say there has to be a certain amount of, there has to be a fatality or something for where they put them. That's the criteria. In theory, I think that's genius. In reality, I think they put it where they think people are going to speed, like big open roads like this. But they do pick on these truck drivers because look, there's another one. It's not even a kilometre up the road, there's another one. It's a red light speed camera. I think, look, if you made every red light a speed camera, every red light, if you had a speed camera and a red light, people would drive better, yes. Would they reduce accidents? Well, people would drive slower and they wouldn't go through red lights. Would it reduce accidents? It may reduce a few. But I don't know, most of the time you're looking at your bloody speedo and not at the road. And those guys, not that particular truck driver, but container drivers, lorry drivers, and the dump truck drivers are notorious for going through red lights. So they haven't judged it, they haven't prepared, and they just plough through. They can't slow down, they can't stop. They plough through. I've seen a lot of near misses. I used to live on one of the main roads that had a lot of container riders, container drivers going past, and you'd always check, even if you had a green light, you'd always check for trucks, because they just plough through, not paying attention, not ready for what they're doing. And I really hope you're getting a feel in this video for what it's like to ride one of these bikes. Like I rode here the other day on the Vstar in very different conditions. Wet, windy as hell. Oh my god, the wind was crazy. It was getting buffeted around like you wouldn't believe. And that bike's pretty good for the wind. But I'm so glad I wasn't on this that day. But this road is, and I like the road. I was like, I've got to come back here, and I did. Here I am. What a life I live. If there's good weather, I'm on my bike. I'm out. I'm blessed that way. I love a bit of nature. I love the bush. I love the sky. I love just chilling. Yes, I got this rumbling beast underneath me, making a hell of a noise. I don't know how my hearing is going, but my ears aren't ringing yet. So normally for a ride this long, I definitely would have had silicone earplugs in. But I wanted to test out the quiet baffles on this. Look at this guy. He's running a two-stroke, is it? Oh, yeah, that's something. But my god, this is what it's all about, right here. Like preferably without the dump truck in front of you, but it's really what it's all about. This kind of riding on this bike. Like right now, I don't care what size this bike is. I feel $1 million. That's what counts. So bang for your buck. How you feel. If you're into cruising, if you're just into cruising, chilling, being part of nature, feeling the wind, you can't beat it. You don't need all the gadgets. This thing's simple as hell to ride. It's as basic as it gets. And you can have so much fun. If this is fun for you, watching me do this, if you're enjoying me just chilling out and you can feel my enjoyment, then this is the bike you want to go and grab. If you're a beginner, grab it. Even if you've had bikes before and you want to taste the cruiser lifestyle, this is the perfect entry level. And right now in Australia, so I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but in Australia, because we have restricted licenses, this bike goes for more money second hand than the bigger bikes, the 1100s, the 1300s. I can sell this bike, go and buy a 1300 or 1100 and still have cash in my hand, because the guys that buy those bikes, that want a bigger bike, they want unrestricted license. So why wouldn't you get something bigger? They kind of fit in a weird window. They're not as popular. This is the biggest you can get on a restricted license. So this is so in demand right now. Like I got this for a decent price. And it doesn't make sense to tell you because it's all about reference. But the timing in the market, I got a great deal on this because the prices were going through the roof. It was coming up to spring. I'm going to keep this bike and enjoy it. I put a custom seat on it. That's the only thing I've done. I had it serviced. I'm going to do the rest of the services myself. I'll do the clutch. I might put the forward controls, put the ape hangers on it. So I'm going to spend money on it. And they say that Well, I say modifications don't add value to your vehicle. Ooh, don't know what that is. No es bueno. They don't add value to your vehicle, but this is the exception to the rule on these type of bikes. That's cool. So that, pretty much the same type of bike, just with the ape hangers on it, and he had his missus on the back. None of them were protective gear. That's their lifestyle choice. My missus is not getting on this without better protective gear than me. She's the most precious thing in the world to me. She's not getting on the back of this bike. She's going to be the most expensive thing about the ride. She's going to have the best gear on, right? But she's trusting me. That's my values. That's who I am. If you want your chick in a bikini, yeah, it looks cool, man. It looks cool. You just want to hope you never have an accident, and I hope I never do. I'm not wishing them harm. I'm sending them love. But I've got enough injuries in my body that I deal with from where things go wrong. And I guess with age comes wisdom, or it's supposed to, I don't know. But I've got a little bit of wisdom when it comes to that. So with bike riding, like I said, I want to be doing it as much as possible for as long as possible. So I get to ride every day. So it means that I'm a little bit warmer. I'm in my jacket. It means my missus is a little bit hot. It means when we get to the other side, she's going to strip it off. She's going to want a cool drink. It's the joys of riding, man. Like, I got these Kevlar jeans on. They're hot as hell. They're hot as hell. But I feel better about my life. I feel better. I feel comfortable. I can lean into corners more. Not worrying about my bare skin. Like, I ride with shorts. I ride with shorts and t-shirt going to the beach or short trips, mate. I'm not that guy. If I'm going on a long ride, I'm going to be on a freeway, I'm going to be doing speed, I'm going to be doing a ton. I got my protective gear on. It just makes sense. I'm not going to lecture you about protective gear. There's tons of videos on that. Just wear something. I like the elbow protectors. I like I got protection in my forearms. You know, I used to be a body worker for years. I treated motorcycle riders for years. And usually sports bike riders. Only one lady I remember, she rode, because I had an interest in bikes, I'd always ask them. And the sports bikes were big accidents. Big accidents. But the cafe racer, she just literally got knocked over at an intersection. She was stopped and the car just didn't see it, knocked her over, and I treated her injuries. So I've seen it. It kind of forewarned me. The guy that got me into riding, kind of a mate that's got to talk me into riding, he's all about protection. He's been riding his entire life. He's 60 years old now, and he's not your cruiser. He does have cruisers, he does have Harleys, but he gets on a racetrack on a regular basis at 60 years old, and he'll kick your ass. He's not your old school, slower is better. He rides like a maniac. And he said, don't skimp on your safety gear, don't skimp on your helmet. He was pissed when I bought a Bell ADV helmet because he told me to buy a Shoei. To my defense, I was like, I don't even know if I want to be riding anymore when I first got into it. So I didn't buy the cheapest thing out there. I didn't buy Crab Bell, it's a well-known brand. But I didn't buy the $1,000 Shoei helmet that he said. And he was like, hey, how much is your life worth? And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But at the time I was riding very slow. I just enjoyed being on a bike. I was scared. I very rarely got it up to speed. I tell a lie. I do ride faster than most. I found that out when I did my test, but I wasn't riding beyond my ability, yeah? Such a cool day. I knew I'd come back to this place. I really like riding bikes here, just chilling out, doing walkarounds and reviews. It's a very different weather to the way I was the other day.